Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to just go into the questions Q&A section from the channel and see what you guys are talking about and maybe just answer some of the questions. Maybe we'll pick 3, 4, 5 of the questions. It depends on how big they are. And, whatever. Please always leave comments about this game, about this economy that you want answers to, because I'm regularly looking in there to try and create new content. And in situations where I use your questions or comments to drive a unique video, I'm going to give you a raffle ticket to generate a free plot of land or to earn a free plot of land, which I'll give you sometime later this year. For this one though, it's going to be, unless one comment grabs me and it really takes hold of the entire video. And again, I haven't looked at the list of cards yet, the questions yet. I'm not awarding a raffle ticket for this because I'm just going to grab like a variety of questions, probably shorter ones, and they independently won't represent an entire video. Let's see though. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you're new to the channel though, my name is Dwayne Cunningham and I go by Infidel1258 in the game, but you can just call me 12. And yeah, leave comments, questions at any time on any video, and I'll look for them. So recently I did a video talking about how Vruz was an amazing success. And I think so from a variety of levels. One, it helped with SPS staking, increasing the number. It helped drive SPS price above 3 cents. The card is exceptional. It represents a reward to the people who have taken this game really seriously by buying SPS and staking SPS. So for a lot of reasons, I think it was a great promo card. And Shark Monster says about that, it was cool, but I doubt I'll ever even be able to use the card since I only have a level 5. I also got 3 of the gold ones and I'm not sure what to do with them. I think I'll hold them and hope to sell them for more later. That's interesting. So you're, first of all, level 5, he's saying he has a level 5 regular foil. The level 5 regular foil of the Vruz is actually big enough to give you the Martyr. So if you go over here and you see the level 5, you actually get that Martyr and you're at 1 damage output, which is relatively trivial, I will admit. And you have 4 speed, which is relatively quick, even though it's only level 5. So you're talking Silver League level, and you have 3 hit points, which is pretty trivial. But again, you've got the Martyr. I would argue, first of all, even if you're playing in Champion, this is still a functional card once you get that Martyr. That's a very big deal. This is 1 mana cheaper than every other Martyr in the game. And so I would argue that this Vruz at level 5, even in Champion, has a role as a sneak attack defender. And what I might do in that situation is probably put like a significant archer monster right behind it. And I could give you 2 suggestions right off the top of my head. Let's just look for legendaries that are big, that would really benefit from a Martyr. Which ones could you look at? Right off the bat, Chaos Dragon. You could put this in the 5th position. Then when your Vruz goes down, you're going to get 1 more magic damage output. Remember, this has Scattershot with the Blast, which means that when it gets to 4 damage at the top levels, it'll become 5 damage, dropping a 5 bomb on somebody and 3 damage to the corresponding, like the next adjacent monsters. Sometimes that's going to mean 5 damage plus 6 is 11 damage. So I would argue that's a huge boost, because not only is it a base damage boost, it's actually boosting 1 more damage to either of the potential blast damage recipients. So Chaos Dragon's one amazing example. And another one that I thought about before I got in here was Runemancer Flore, because you got both of those long distance range attacks. And of course, they're each going to go up by 1, which makes this a very powerful recipient of any Martyr bonuses. And so if you've got this in the 5th spot and you've got Vruz in the 6th, you're going to get a lot more damage output. If you've got a max level Flore, you're doing 4 archery, then you're going to 5. You got 3 magic, and you're going to 4. And potentially with the green team, you've got some Resurrects. And so that's the other question too. Where do you have your Resurrects? Because if you have Resurrects available to you, that becomes a really nice combination with that Martyr. And so if you've got, Constantia, or if you've got, there's some amazing white Resurrects. They've got a Summoner with a Resurrect. They've got Bright Adelaide. They've got High Priest Darius. They've got the Angel. I forget her name. So they have the most, I think, of any team. And I think Black has we're looking right now just at the legendaries, but if you go like this and you look at Death has a good amount. Life has a lot. And then there's still a few over everywhere else too with the blue or with the green. So if you can combine it in one of those three ways, I think you're sleeping a little bit on the Vruz when you say you won't play it at that level 5. But then lastly, if you've got the level 5, and that means you have 60 BCX and you have 3 copies of the gold foil version, you could easily sell those 3 copies of gold foil for right now $7.11. So you're talking $21 right then and there. Divide that by 50 cents. Aren't you going to get, you're going to get another 50 cents. I should be able to do this. 42 copies, I think, right? You get 21 US dollars and then divided by 0.50 cents. And yeah, you're going to get 42 more copies. So where would you be then? You'd be up to 100 BCX, which gives you 1 more speed. I'm going to agree that I wouldn't do that because that's not a substantive breakpoint. But if you then find another 120, if you have some other thing you can sell, I find this level is really important because you get that second damage output. But one last time, I really believe that this will be functional and helpful even in Champion League, despite the penalty you would take for playing that at the Champion League. Okay, let's move on. Ketavor, you got your PP. You gotta worry about absolutely, Ketavor. You know it, dude. You know it. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, bro. Okay, Mitch goes, see what you got to say, Mitch. Same video. Mitch goes, thank you very much for all these videos. And I would also be happy to join you on a video or a live stream. I am an accountant and interested in tokenomics, but not nearly as well versed as Aftersound, Crypto Llama, Stever82, and yourself, but definitely interested in it. My current plan has been to acquire a silver to gold league level gold foil deck over the past few months, but I realized this morning what I'd like to do is that I'm trying to push my collector side down and go more in for investment. That's an interesting path to navigate. So I've been happy to go gold foil cards and gold level versus regular foil at the max level, since I feel most people are trying to get higher deck levels that is more playable than some shiny cards. I think there is a real financial opportunity. Like Gank says, you want to zag when everyone else is zigging and zig when everyone else is zagging. Yeah, man, that's so true. That's so true. And so if there's an opportunity at the kind of gold tier level, I agree. Make it happen. So since we are overwhelmed with the amount of assets to buy and everyone has to make choices, I feel like most people are choosing to have higher level playable deck than slightly lower level gold foil collections. I'm happy to play in Diamond 2/1 with almost complete Chaos Legion gold level deck and try to outplay my opponents by having more options that could be viable in certain rule sets. Yeah, that's fun. Archmage bot plays better than me, but I still enjoy honing my skills. Me too, dude. Even if I do use bots in some situations, which I've said I do, the enjoyment of playing this game is still significant for me, and I can't imagine that going away. In fact, I see that growing in the future when we get these items and spells, which are going to add a new level of complexity to how the game works. And then they've already hinted at other things, right? They've already talked about how they want to maybe introduce reverse. I don't know how to say this other than saying reverse abilities, ones that are maybe damaging to your own teammates. So you pick a monster who is maybe really inexpensive mana cost and does a lot of damage to your opponent, but it happens to harm your friendlies also. And that's something the game could really really confuse the existing player base, maybe confuse bots. It could be an interesting way, and they talked about it at Splinterfest, so I think that's eventually coming. My point is, there's lots of reasons and justifications and I think hints at how this game is going to continue to evolve and stay fresh for many, many years to come. Before all this news about the PP requirements, I felt like gold foil cards were extremely undervalued. I think they still are, and some of them still are, he says, like Chaos Agent or Zenith Monk. I've mentioned this before, but I come up with Hearthstone background, pouring money down the drain, and then I got into Magic the Gathering and spent way too much in MTG in my first year playing and collecting, which is why I switched to printing out all the expensive cards. Ended up printing over $200,000 of cards. I used those savings to invest in Splinterlands. Well done, my friend. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can, with a game like that, you can just have fun. If you're just having fun with friends and not playing in some sort of official tournament, why can't you print out an MTG card? Of course you can. And then just enjoy it, with friends who love MTG. Appreciate you, Golden Skeeter. Thank you so much for the amazing comment and for the long-term kind of, look at this. Publicly subscribed for over a year. Thank you, my dude. And yeah, Mitch, let's try and figure out a time. Maybe we could do that. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm pretty busy right now before Easter, but yeah, I would like that. Okay, so not really a question as much as just a bit of excitement, and I like to see that too. And like I said in this video, I am looking to do more conversations with especially time and attention guildmates, and Skeeter's on that. So that'd be one open door. But then also members from the channel, people who I know and I know well enough that I can say that they've got something to say within the space, because I think personalities and it's one of the ways that we can grow this tight-knit community even tighter, and we can probably share a passion with a broader community when we start to put cameras on certain faces, or forget about cameras, just to hear your passion. I think that might be really interesting from a new player perspective, because yeah, they can see Dwayne Cunningham on YouTube, or they can see Jim, or they can see what I mean. There's probably 20 or 30 great sort of content creators that you can have access to. But what about the thousands of players that have invested deeply, that are deeply passionate, and have some sort of interesting story to share with a new player? I think there's an angle there. So Golden Skeeter, let's try and figure it out, buddy. Mickey G says, with bots now openly playing in brawls and tournaments by proxy, with talking heads now hearing from teammates that bots are too good. With talking heads now hearing from teammates that bots are too good, with nobody doing anything about it, I think I might have a tad too much SPS. Mickey G has been a frequent commenter of the channel, and I would say at least 6 out of 10 are a bit salty. And but Mickey, we appreciate you here, bud. We appreciate the comment, and I will try not to take offense from the implications of this comment, but I will just to cut to the crux of what you're saying. You feel SPS is a bad investment. I love the fact that you can sell that. I love the fact that something you've earned through a game you've played for the last, I think, year and a half, 2 years you've been around, you are able to sell. You can't say that from, like we just read from Golden Cedar, you cannot say that if you played Magic the Gathering. You cannot say that. Well, not in the same way. You didn't earn, if you play Magic the Gathering, you might resell your cards. You didn't earn SPS from playing Magic the Gathering. You didn't earn SPS from playing, what was the other one? The Blizzard title. I forget it now, but he mentioned that not just Magic the Gathering, but that there's a Blizzard title. And so, the criticism that certain people will levy at Splinterlands, whether it's because of too many bots in the system, or whether it's because of they feel that quote unquote talking heads are just maybe sharing nothing but the good side of the game. The great news is you have flexibility and you can leave anytime, and we hope you stay, because I really do believe this game offers life-changing opportunity for even skeptics such as yourself. But you have the ability to sell that SPS any day, anytime. I'm sure if you price it accordingly, it'll be liquidated in under a minute. So wish you well, Mickey, and just thanks for the comment, my dude. William Hessian. The player experience in Splinterlands. This was a video we covered the other day. It was myself and Isaac, another one of my time and attention teammates, talking about some of the concerns we have over Splinterlands. And this is actually maybe even an example to Mickey about how, because you've got some concerns about maybe my intentions as a person covering this game. It seems to me. But here we have a video where I think I clearly articulate some of the concerns I have for our game. And bots is one of them. I don't know how we solve that. Another is new player experience, which would, to me, deeply involve the idea of a mobile app. And so if you want to know more about my opinions on the new player experience and how we can improve it and problems that are plaguing the game, you check out that video. But William said in reference to that video, he goes, 100% agree. I just had my third experience showing Splinterlands to a dedicated gamer that loves all card games, and she was immediately turned off by all the market stuff and all the different currencies, etc. The game itself and the cards she loved, but has zero interest in starting. And this is the problem. I really think this is the problem. When we talk about, earlier Golden Cedar talked about having an enjoyment, maybe a casual enjoyment for the economy, for the token, interested in the tokenomics, but not nearly as well versed as some of these YouTubers you mentioned. Here's the problem. You are, Mitch, you're well versed. Golden Skeeter, you are well versed compared to the average person. William, same with you. Even if you come at it from like a Magic the Gathering background and you love card games, you love collectible card games, you understand, meta development and analysis and real strategy around deck building, all of that's great. And that's an amazing benefit to you that will help you in a game like Splinterlands. But is it enough? It is not enough. You need to understand cryptocurrency. You need to understand blockchain. You need to be not intimidated by things like public versus private keys. You need to understand that literally your entire library of cards can disappear in an instant if you send the wrong key to the wrong place. If you're copy and pasting private keys for a Splinterlands deck and you're putting that into an email or you're sending it, via a tweet from yourself to another self just for the purpose of I don't know, whatever reason you might think that's an okay prospect, you literally could lose an entire fortune. And so that complexity demands a level of attention and responsibility that not everybody wants. The cool thing about cryptocurrency is that it affords you an opportunity to be your own bank, meaning manage your money, be accountable for how that's handled, invested, and delivered across the globe instantly. All of that's amazing, revolutionary technology, but deeply the other side of that coin, of that power and that authority, is deep, meaningful responsibility. And to William's point, people who don't have any background in that are deeply skeptical or concerned about having to learn what is really a steep learning curve for a brand new person. And I don't know how we navigate that unless we make SPS far more, I don't know. I think it's going to take a decentralized exchange that handles XPS in a way that's seamless, where you could actually use, PayPal into SPS, and that might be what we need. And I'm not sure that's possible, because I don't know that that's ever possible because of SEC regulation and on and on and on. But that's the goal if we want to open the door to these sorts of players that he's describing, and many that or I know. I don't know how to solve for that. It's a huge barrier. We need to figure our way past it, or we're always going to be niche, appealing to just blockchain bros and to, crypto degens. And that's great. We can do that and do that niche well. And that can be life-changing in and of itself. But if we want to be that game that blows up and has 1 million, 2 million, 5 million players, it's not going to be, we cannot be hamstrung and chained down by cryptocurrency, blockchain-related hurdles and barriers. Great comment, William. Let's try and do 2 more quickly. Mike Levy says, I agree wholeheartedly. Same video, that having a good mobile app will attract more players, but Splinterland's team is primarily focused on bringing DC back to PEG and improving the Splinterlands economy, so they see the upcoming land project as an opportunity to help them with these goals. Consequently, land has become overcomplicated and, to be honest, overwhelming. I kind of agree with the overwhelming part, but I believe my opinion is that it's going to become more and more transparent, more and more clear. You need to get your hands on it, and then you're going to be surprised at how easily you'll learn it. I believe that's my expectation, because Splinterlands is a complicated game, but now you've played it, you understand it. Perhaps one could argue that Splinterlands visuals is not an issue, but there are many issues in how they have tried to incentivize players into renting and buying too many cards. In my opinion, it's ridiculous. Creating illogical, unreasonable rule sets is one example. All monsters have sneak and no abilities. Lol. Well, if they all have sneak, just so you know, they do have sneak. So if it says all monsters have sneak and then it says all monsters have no abilities. They actually, they will still sneak attack. So you can pick melee in that context. That's the one ability they'll have because it's governed from that rule set level. So, that doesn't change what you're saying. I mean, you made some strong points here. Like, absolutely, the game demands that you buy or rent large amounts of cards and a growing amount of cards. That's part of what this game is. In the same way, I would argue that Magic the Gathering does. You don't play Magic the Gathering with an old deck unless you're going to see friends who have old decks. You play with modern cards, just like you know, like every game. You know, you don't still play NHL 94 unless it's on special occasion. If you play NHL games, you play NHL 2024. And the thing is, there's always this expectation that you go further up and further in. That's like I love that reference. I'm going to keep using it. It's from Chronicles of Narnia. And, but it's just accurate. Like you take, you know, that's what this sort of game is. It's a collectible card game first. And then on top of that, you're right, there's a land project, and that land project is going to have a similar element of further up and further in, or, you know, more assets is desirable. But there's always sort of pared back versions that you can take advantage of, and even to enjoy and have a lot of fun with, whether it's the tournaments that are available, I think once a week, that give you access to all the best cards for free, or whether it's, you know, just playing with your starter cards and your $10 deck. Absolutely, there's options here that are less complicated and less expensive, but not that are less complicated, less expensive, and yet somehow reward you. That requirement is a bridge too far. That's just not going to happen. So, to get back to your, I guess the crux or the cornerstone of your comment, the mobile is a big deal, and we should get there, but you're saying land has been a bit of a distraction. I think land is deeply important, and I think it will ultimately drive more joy and more excitement and more attention and more new players than a mobile app experience would if land does what it's supposed to. That's one thing I would suggest that maybe you might not agree with. I don't want to deeply unpack that because I think I've repeatedly unpacked that whenever I've talked about land. The importance of land, in my opinion, is enormous. However, that doesn't mean I disagree with your first part about how important a good mobile app would be. And when we talk about how the Splinterlands team has not focused on that, and they have focused on land, I want to quickly, like I say I approve of that focus on land, but I also want to say I don't think focusing, as I said in this video that you're commenting on, I believe I commented saying that the mobile app experience cannot be pushed forward in a substantive, adequate manner until such time that we resolve the SPS blockchain barriers that we just talked about with William's comment. Because you cannot have an amazing mobile app for Splinterlands until you resolve how does one get SPS? What is the need of SPS like? Because we know as players of this game, you're going to need to stake SPS on your account. In order to do that, you need an access point. The mobile app can never provide you that because Google Play or Apple will never link that game to their account. So how do we deliver an amazing mobile app to players if we can't even link, if this blockchain barrier is in the way? So we need to solve that first. And that's why the issue of an amazing mobile app has to be secondary. It cannot be primary a concern right now, even though it's deeply important. Great comment though, Mike. Let's get one more from RFC. Actually, you know what? I'm going to scroll to a different video. This will be an older video. Lots of comments on that problems plaguing Splinterlands. Here's a different video. And this is a video where I was talking about how I've been using Xbot when I'm not able to play the game. And I was raising another concern where is Splinterlands becoming an automated DeFi protocol? And really, is that going to ruin the game? So that's another video where I've recently, I guess, tackled some controversial stuff that's coming, concerns that I'm seeing within this amazing game. It's not stopping me from playing. It's not ruining the experience, in my opinion, but it's something to watch and talk about. And Robert says, I still play every battle in Gold Diamond, but I admit I've been very tempted lately to buy an XBOT token. Right now I'm not doing it out of principle, but I'm tempted. Never thought I would be. See, this is a concern to me in some sense. Oops. This is a concern to me, and it's disappointing that Robert feels that's kind of almost necessary. You want the game to be deeply enjoyable on the level of personal play, because you actually want people to be engaging with it, not just buying assets and turning on a bot. If they have to buy assets and turn on a bot, then it becomes an automated DeFi protocol, and that's not what we want. We want a game. And so, but again, I don't want to rehash the whole bot argument. Here's the we got to say it again, I guess, and we'll leave it here. And this will maybe be the last comment for the video. How can we ever get rid of all the bots? Even if, because I'm not saying Robert's even going here exactly, but my heart goes there. Like, if we did away with all of these bots, I mean bot farms, and like I heard somebody comment earlier today in one of my other videos, he goes, I run 6 bots, he says. I call it a bot garden. It's not a bot farm, it's a bot garden. And I thought that was cute. So, whether you're running a bot farm or a bot garden, or you've got one bot on your main account, I will admit that's not optimal for the growth of a video game. But how do we get rid of them? And please don't drop a comment below saying, we ban the bots. This simplistic suggestion is just beyond, it doesn't have any merit. It's so much more complicated than that. And so, there are mechanisms that might be helpful, but there are none that I can see that would be perfect. Maybe we should implement some more of them that might be helpful. For instance, one good one, and this will be the last that I'll raise. I've heard people suggest you could identify bots and bot armies and bot gardens maybe, and then keep a blockchain-based journal of which accounts are within that, are doing that. And that wouldn't be an official ban list. It would be ultimately a list of names of accounts that we suspect are doing X, Y, and Z. It could be curated by the community, not asking Splinterlands, a team, to do it, because they've clearly said they don't want to do that kind of thing. And I don't blame them, because they're a true blockchain company, and they're aiming at decentralization and anonymity. So they won't touch it, but maybe we can, in the form of a curated, community-driven list of accounts that are either bot farms or maybe even bot gardens, if that's where we feel this line needs to be drawn. And then we can start to identify, hey, this is happening, and then we can, elect to restrict services to those people. Perhaps they don't get access to Nifty Arcade. Perhaps they don't get access to, the rental market. I'm not sure what the penalty even looks like. And maybe you can tell me in the comments below what a great penalty might look like. But frankly, ban the account that uses a bot, to me, makes zero sense, because they've invested real dollars into this. And even if they were a bot farm, they now have, in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars in our ecosystem. I don't think the answer is to just ban them. And I'm not convinced that banning them is even truly possible. So, but this is a battle I guess we're going to have to keep circling around, because it just will not be resolved easily. So thank you guys for the amazing comments, and I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.